This is my book shopping haul from the best day of my life. Did she go inside my head and like put my feelings into words? This was definitely an impulse buy. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the first and hopefully only book haul of 2026. This is pretty collective, I think, from the last 2 to 3 months, and there might be a few stragglers that are even older than that, but the bulk of this is from the Barnes & Noble 25% off sale. I think we are just going to dive right in, and I'm going to start with the Barnes 25% off sale books that I got, and then go books I got other times. We have a big stack here, and I cannot wait to talk about these because they're just books that I'm so excited about. I've kind of feel my reading taste shifting, so I definitely wanted to pick up some books while they were on sale that are, I guess, showing my taste changing. The first book is Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I've just heard amazing things about her books. I own Cleopatra and Frankenstein, but I have not read it yet, and I have just heard raging things about this because I was doing some research on like best books of people's 2025, and that's kind of what I based these off of, books that I thought I was gonna love that other people also really loved. All I really know is that there's a lot of heavier topics in this book. Like, we have grief, addiction mentioned on the back, and it follows the story of these 4 sisters, and I think kind of the main like thing it follows is they have to return to New York to stop the sale of the apartment they were raised in. So I just think this is going to be a really touching story, and I absolutely love a character driven story, and I think this is going to be so fun just following 4 different sisters. They're from the same family obviously, so they were raised similarly, but from then on their lives seem like they got very different. So I'm really excited to read this, and also this book's like 300 and some pages, and I'm really excited, and I've just heard, again, raging reviews. I feel like I've talked about this at length recently about how I'm really kind of sick of like romance books or romantasy, so I've really been on the hunt for like deeper romance books. If I am gonna read one, I want one that has a big plot going on or like emotional stuff going on, and this is definitely one I've heard amazing things about that also has heavier topics talked about. I think the main one is grief in this, and I'm just really excited about this book. I mean, part of it is the cover, honestly, but I just think this is gonna be such a beautiful story, and I've just heard great things about her writing too, and this will be my first Cara Bastone book, so I'm really excited to get to this one. And this has just been a book that every time I'm at Barnes I pick up and then put back, but I finally did it because it was 25% off. Another romance book, which I talked about kind of my reasoning for wanting to read a book like this. I thought it would be kind of like healing and whatever, and so I did actually read this, and that would be Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This book has a huge, I'm not even gonna call it a subplot because it's just like the plot of domestic violence, domestic abuse, so definitely look up the trigger warnings. I kind of feel the same way about Releasing 10 when I read books like this that are so traumatizing and cover and go in such depth to topics like this. It's hard for me to rate them. With this, I almost want to say it was a 5-star, but I'm not too sure because like the topics talked about in this make it so hard to rate this. But yeah, I absolutely, I want to say loved, but like I didn't love the content, but I really thoroughly enjoyed this book. It was definitely hard to read about at points, and the reading vlog will either be up next or you've already seen it, I don't know. Both of the main characters, for me personally, I found them both really relatable in their situations, and some of the quotes in this really helped me put some of my feelings into perspective, and I did annotate the crap out of this, and I don't annotate. I've never tabbed a book before besides this. Just some of the quotes in here really hit hard and were really relatable. Normally when I'm reading specifically like romance books, I don't outwardly notice the writing or take inspiration from it, I guess, when I'm writing my book, but this is one of the only ones that I have processed that the writing was really good and like really clicking in my brain, so I actually tabbed some of that too. I think it was the blue was like writing I liked, or just like the style, I guess, so I was also really happy about that, and I cannot wait to, first of all, continue the series, second of all, read more of Kennedy Ryan's books. Looking back at some of these quotes, it's just like, oh my god. Part of this, I'm like, did she go inside my head and like put my feelings into words? Let me try and find some to read. A few minutes with a complete stranger, and I suddenly feel understood in a way that's always been hard to find. A night like this, a connection like this, it's singular. Just yep. Just take me out. My mom used to say it took a crowbar to pry me open, but with August, I surprised myself. I didn't hold back. When was the last time I had talked so openly with anyone besides blank? When was the last time blank left me breathless with a little more than a look, a touch? For that matter, when was the last time I wanted to tell him so many things, there wasn't time for them all? Yeah. I've remained when I should have fled. Okay, maybe this is a 5-star. Shit! Maybe it is. I don't know. Okay, I think it's a 5-star. I'm deciding right now. After finishing this book, I kept thinking of it, but I also kind of wanted to push it out of my brain because of the topics covered in this, and then it made me rethink to my past and all that. But I think this is a 5-star. I'm deciding right here, right now. So that's kind of interesting because I'm filming like a finding 5 stars video, and I'm just now realizing this is a 5-star after I've moved on multiple books after this. But yay for my book taste changing. This just kind of signifies the book haul that I'm talking about right now, because this barn trip is for my like new reading taste, and I feel like I definitely picked up books that I am going to love, and I literally did love this one. So go read this if you haven't, but literally you have to look up trigger warnings, or like just don't read it if that's something you don't want to read about, you know. But I love this as someone who has been in a slightly similar situation. It really just made me grateful that I eventually was able to leave the situation, but it also made me have like a overhead view on what other women go through, and then how lucky I was, basically. I mean, I wasn't lucky to go through what I went through, but I was lucky that it didn't get to this level. Just really helps you gain a lot of perspective, and just, I don't know, help me realize a lot and get a lot of closure, I feel like, too. Anyways, I feel like I just talked about that for 17 minutes. The next book is Tuesdays with Morrie. This is one that I saw just everywhere when I was looking at best books of 2025. All I know is this follows an elderly, I'm assuming he's elderly, I don't actually know for sure. It follows a professor, and he is kind of sharing with his class some of his lessons that he has learned over his life. So I just think this is gonna be a really touching and beautiful story, and as someone who's kind of embracing a new chapter of her life, I want to soak up all the knowledge and wisdom I can and apply it into my life and become the best version of myself. And I think this will help listening to someone's story who has lived way longer than I have and experienced more things. And I just love to cry over a book too. It's like 180 pages, and I'm really excited about it. I think this will be a great one to like annotate and maybe even take some notes on, so really excited about that. Again, this came up a lot when I was doing my research on certain types of books with some subplots that I thought could be kind of healing ish. I've just heard amazing things about this book, but it's always been a book that I'm scared of, kind of similar to A Little Life, in the sense that I know I'm gonna cry and it's gonna devastate me. But as we know, I do love a book like that, so I am scared but really excited about this. It looks like it starts in the year 2000 and then jumps to 2017. I'm scared, but also I love a hard-hitting book like this. The Second Death of Locke. Again, I feel like I'm kind of shifting away from fantasy, but I feel like this is one that I'm really gonna like because it feels like it's gonna be different from just like romantic-y bullshit. But I watched Destiny read this, and ever since then it's been in the back of my mind, so I of course took advantage of the sale. She will be his blade on the battlefield, his healer and protector, and it looks like they go on a quest together to save the child of an enemy kingdom. I remember when Destiny's reading vlog, she just talked about some of the quotes in this book and that the yearning was so there, and I'm really excited about that. It says Gray Flynn has dedicated her life to her mage Kier. I like that because a lot of times in romantasy books it's enemies to lovers, but this, they already know each other, they work together, I guess. So I think that is gonna be really fun. I just want something different in a fantasy book, and I think this is definitely gonna deliver with that. Also, is this a standalone? Please let me know. I kind of think it might be, but I also have no clue. This is another one of those books that I have picked up countless times in bookstores, but then ultimately put back. And there's one specific reason I put it back, and that is because something happens with a dog in the start of this book, and I hate to read about that type of stuff and just think about it. So I keep putting this book back because I'm like, I don't want to read about that. But I have just heard an insane amount of amazing reviews about this, so I really wanted to give it a chance, and I figured the sale was the perfect time because it's a hardcover. Hardcovers are obviously more expensive. I finally picked this up. I'm really excited about this. It sounds, again, exactly what I'm trying to read in 2026, and I love a kind of genre bending book where there's like mystery, romance, just fiction stuff, whatever. All I know is there's something about a trial. It says a sweeping love story with the pace and twist of a thriller. That sounds great and right up my alley, and it looks super short, and I've just again heard amazing things. Also, it's a Reese's book club, and I trust Reese's book club with my life. And then we have The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This is again a book I've heard incredible reviews about. There was also one day I was at the Barnes Cafe working, and this older gentleman, he sat down next to me and he was reading this. I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of sold just on that. And I think this is just gonna be a beautiful story, and I love a unique book like this. This is told through emails and letters and all that, and I just remember Sarah reading this and she was talking about how it made her want to write to people, write letters to people, express her feelings to people, and that is something I am working on this new year, so I definitely want to read this and just, I don't know, I just feel like it's going to be such a beautiful story, and I love reading about elderly people, and again, a character-driven story, and this is going to be so unique and fun, I feel like. Really excited about this one. And those are the 8 books I bought at the Barnes sale. So next up we have another book shopping day, which this is my book shopping haul from the best day of my life. I think about this day all day, every day, honestly, and just everything about this day was perfection and beautiful, and I bought some books to signify it. A couple of these probably were impulse buys, but I had just received one of the best text messages of my entire life, and I was literally walking through the bookstore like this, like cheesing. Here is the book haul from the best day of my life. So there was a new used bookstore opening, so I went to the opening, and this is what I got from it. The first book was Sisters of Sword and Song. What? Sisters of Sword and Song by Rebecca Ross. Rebecca Ross has been one of my favorite authors. Divine Rivals is like a 17-star book for me. I love it so much, and this was literally like $3. I don't even really know what it's about. So Ava, our main girl, she's reunited with her older sister Halcyon? I don't know. And something is wrong because her sister is on the run after being charged with murder. Oh, and it looks like Ava volunteers to serve her sister's sentence in the army in the commander's house. I don't know, but this sounds really fun, and I do love Rebecca Ross's writing, of course. I'm actually curious when this came out. Oh, 2020, really? I thought it was older than that. I don't know, but I'm really excited about this, and it sounds kind of different from, it definitely is similar to some of the other fantasy books I'm trying to stray away from, but it's an author I know and love, and it was $3. Like, I'm so excited about this. This was definitely an impulse buy, and I kind of forgot about it because I left it in my car for a while, but Last Christmas in Paris. I thought this would be fun though, because it's like a historical holiday book, because I, again, haven't been in the mood for like romances like that. When war pulled them apart, their words brought them together. Again, this was like $3. Looks like this trio is reuniting in Paris, and something about letters. I don't know, and it looks like it's past and present timeline or something. I don't know. I'm excited about it though. And then when I saw this book at that bookstore for $3 again, I was like, wow, this is already the best day of my life, and that the best day of my life part hadn't even happened yet. $3. $3. This text is brutal. This is one of my favorite series ever, and I have been wanting to get these covers. For some reason I really like them, but they're obviously out of print and hard to find. So when I found this for $3, I was like, yes, immediately yes. I'm really excited to eventually slowly collect them all. Some old covers I really can get behind, and this is one of those. If you haven't read it and don't know what it's about, it is a very traumatic series. There is just so many heavy topics talked about, but this one specifically follows Johnny and Shannon, and Johnny is this like star rugby player. Him and Shannon kind of have this like meet cute, I guess, but it's not really cute, and so they kind of strike up a friendship, whatever, and you're just following them get to know each other and whatnot. And then I also went to an indie bookstore when I was up there, and I was looking specifically for this book, and I picked it up, and I'm so excited about it. I think this is like a sci-fi high fantasy book, and I again have heard just amazing things, and this is the type of fantasy I want to get more into. At the elite Cation Academy, a young fugitive uncovers layered mysteries and world-changing secrets. That is the type I love, when someone's like undercover, uncovering stuff, and this just sounds really, really good, and I'm really excited about it. Well, I was in line to check out with my book here. There was this promotion going on. I think it was if you spend over $50, you get a free candle or whatever. The lady in front of me in line, she was from out of town, and so she was like, I can't put the candle in my suitcase. So she turns to me, and she was like, you can give the candle to her. I can't put it in my suitcase. So I got a candle for free. And that alone, just, this was the best day ever. This was the best day ever. This is the tip of the iceberg. And it's Mary Bookmas. It's a Bookmas candle. It smells so good. And she gave it to me. I could tear up about that. Beautiful day, beautiful haul, beautiful candle. The last stack, and this is just random. So some of these are from half price books and some of them are from Barnes and whatnot. Recently I read Assistant to the Villain and I fell in love with it. I can't stop thinking about this world. I absolutely loved it. It was the best time ever. So I of course had to pick up the second and the third book. I did already read both of these and finish the series, and I cannot wait for the fourth one to come out. I love this series so much, and these characters are some of my favorite characters of all time now. Like, I think about them every single day, and it's just such a fun and beautiful series, and there is just so much yearning, and it is comical, it is fun, it is fast-paced, it is all the things. The main premise of the first book is Evie, our main girl, and she's just like the most like bubbly character ever, and I love her to death. So she gets this job being the assistant to the villain, and it sounds one way, but it is actually so intense, and there's actually so much depth going on behind the scenes. And so you just follow her in the workplace, and this book series has the best side characters ever, which you get more of in the second and third book, and so fast-paced, so fun. And then I think I picked these up around my birthday. I don't even remember, but Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I read this, loved it. Again, kind of a genre bending book, romance, thriller, sci-fi, all the things, and that is really what I have been loving lately. So I did really enjoy this. I still need to watch the show, but I'm so excited to do that because this book was insane. Back in school, they always had you pick out the themes for books and like talk about them, but the theme was so clear to me, and it was such a beautiful one, and it was done in such a beautiful way. This book was so fast-paced and addicting to read, and it was so thrilling, and there were so many twists and turns, and I absolutely loved it. No notes, really. It's so close to a 5-star, but I just don't think about the specific characters enough for it to be a 5-star, but that is so okay. So of course, after loving that, I did pick up another Blake Crouch book, and this is Recursion, and I think this one I've heard even better things about, so I'm so excited to get to this. I think it's like an epidemic that spreads, and something about the detective is looking into it. I'm gonna go into this super blind because that's what I did with Dark Matter. It just makes the twists and turns hit even harder because you literally have no clue what's going on. So really excited about this. And then this was the $5 Barnes Cafe pick, and I have really been enjoying getting those lately. This sounds just unique and fun. So our main girl, Ray, she seizes a second chance at living, and she is able to enter the world of her favorite fantasy series, but in that world she is the villain basically. So I just thought this would be fun for $5. I'm like, sure, what the heck. I think this would be a fun audiobook. I don't really know like what the plot is really. And then I picked up 2 Brandon Sanderson books, which I have not read any of him yet, but I'm really excited to do so. I picked this up, I think, after I finished Project Hail Mary, because I'm like, wait, I love sci-fi. And this has been on the back of my mind for a while because it just sounds right up my alley, like a YA sci-fi series by such a famous author. All I know is she is a pilot in this world, and one of my favorite movies of all time is Top Gun Maverick. So I was like, this has my name written all over it. So I'm really excited to get to this one, and it will be my first Brandon Sanderson book, so I'm really excited, and I might read this soon, honestly. But then the next one I picked up is Mistborn. I actually feel like I already talked about this in a haul, but I was looking for this at half price for so long because it's just a more expensive paperback. Like, it's $22 MSRP, and like, that's expensive. So I finally found it for $10.99, and I'm really excited to get to this series. I've just heard amazing things, and that this is where you should start with Brandon Sanderson, so I haven't decided what one I want to start with, but honestly I'm kind of leaning towards this because I've been more into sci-fi than just fantasy lately. And then that day at half price they also had The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I think I've already talked about this one, but I couldn't remember. I don't know really anything about this, but I love going into Kristen Hanna's books blind because that's what I did with The Nightingale and The Woman, and both of those are 5-star books. Can't wait to read this one. I did also pick up Firefly Lane a couple months ago. I watched the show when it first came out, but I really don't remember anything about it, and I just want to read like a hard-hitting book that's gonna make me cry and just rethink all my life and all my friendships and all that. Really excited about this. I've heard, again, obviously amazing things. We're down to the end. This is sad. Okay, and then I was at Barnes one day. I participated in a BOGO 50. It was a little impulsy, and I already had this book apparently. I had thrifted it, so it wasn't like in my room. It was downstairs, and I did buy it again. I didn't return it because I realized like months after. So this is The Paper Girls of Paris. This sounds so good, you guys. We're getting 2 timelines. The now is 16-year-old Alice inherits an apartment in Paris that has been locked for over 70 years. And she's determined to discover why its existence was hidden from her family for so long. And she just uncovers secrets and all that. And then the then timeline looks like Adeline has always been determined to do something about the war. So she meets Luke, and he's a leader of a resistance group, so then she joins in whatever. I'm really excited about this. This sounds so good, and I haven't read a YA historical fiction yet, so I really think I'm gonna like this. And then I thought this book just sounded so fun. It looks like they're on this reality TV show, and then there's a murder on it, and just like scandals, drama, all that. I thought this would be a fun time, and I love this cover so much. I don't really know what it's all about, but I'm so excited. It says, on this season of Garden State Goddesses, getting canceled means getting killed. And then a new release, and my most recent book purchase, I think we have In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. This is the last book in the When in Rome series, and I have enjoyed the series. I think I definitely enjoyed the first two more than the third one, but I think this is where it turns around from there, because these characters have been so anticipated, especially the guy in this. Like, he's been in all the other books as a side character, and I'm so excited to read about his story. And also the main girl, the sister, I think she lives somewhere, yeah, she lives in New York now, so we haven't seen her as much, so I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to finish off this series and like complete a series for once. And this cover is beautiful. Okay, I think that is all of the books that I have bought recently-ish. So thank you guys for coming along. If you want to see any of these in reading vlogs, please let me know which ones, and I will see you guys next time for a fun one, and hopefully I will not see you again for a book haul for the rest of the year. I think we all know how that's gonna go, but peace. I love ya. Happy New Year, Pookies. Happy reading.